I think this terminal is a bit too small, but I will shuffle around this window a bit. Okay, let's try again. Those of you that are back, please do a thumbs up or raise your hand.
I think you need to move people from the silent room if you
Oh,
start. I had to
thank you.
like do some
Yes.
fancy stuff.
Okay, that, yeah, it may be tricky for some to get out of the room. So is everyone back from the break now? And from the breakout room? Okay, hopefully. So I will just quickly share the screen with the Q&A. So there was one question, very good question. Why does git revert head moves the head of the commit backwards, but git reset with the dash hard option head tilde needs? So why does that move the why does that need a tilde? So basically, the action on the hash is different in git revert and reset, and the question is just, well, the way that the git developers agree to have as a convention. It may make sense to some people, it doesn't make sense to others. The way I like to think of it is that git revert and the hash is going to change modifications that are in the hash I specify, while git reset and the hash is going to reset to the hash that I specify. So it's a bit different. I think you should find your strategy of remembering what it does. But again, it makes sense to some people, but not to all. So yeah, I also have to think twice before I use them. But hopefully that answers your question more or less. And before we move to branches, do you have any questions regarding the exercises that we have been doing? Okay, then I'll take that as a no. Again, if you do think of something, then you can write in the chat or ask later. Okay, then branches. We have seen we have worked a little bit with some of the commands with branches, but we'll go more into that and to the risk of having some repetition. So the objectives of this lesson is to learn how we can create branches, how we can switch to them, how we merge two different branches and delete branches we no longer want. And we'll learn about some more advanced or fairly advanced option. No, well, some a little bit advanced options on how we handle uncommitted changes, but really advanced options are actually rebasing and cherry picking. And I will go through this tomorrow, and tomorrow I will also give you an example on how you can rebase interactively. There was one question on this yesterday. So what is a git branch? You should think of it as a pointer to a commit, and we can think of branches as all the commits which are reachable from a given one. So one commit and all its ancestors. So from the tip of the branch and following all the parents of that commit. And typically, well, if you are on the tip of the branch, then head is going to determine the branch that you are on. And if the head is going to point to the tip of that branch, then one can say that you are on that branch. So we have seen this situation before, but if head does not point to the tip of a branch, then you are in the so-called detached head mode. And this happens when you check out to some earlier commit in time without specifying a new branch name when you check out to that commit. So why should one use branches to start with? And the answer is that you may want to develop a new feature, but you do not want to add this feature in your main line of work because you are unsure if this is a good idea, or you simply want to have it well tested before it enters in your main code. So that is always, I would say, whenever you try things out, you should create a new branch to develop those ideas. And it's very common that when you work on a project with several colleagues, then you typically have your own branch, and then you merge your work in the main one. So this is very common, again, with shared repositories. And branches are, again, an additional safety net for making sure that your code does not have bugs. So always, when you introduce something new, make a branch, test your code well, have others test your code, and then when you and your colleagues agree with changes, then you can merge it in the main version, and we will learn how to do that. So well, usually you will prefer to have one line of commits, and the head is going to the tip of the branch is going to point the latest commit, and that is what the head mostly points to. And in this example, so time is moving to the right. It's a bit inconsistent with some of the slides. But when we work with branches, then we split our line of work. Instead of being a straight line, as in this green example here for the master branch, we can split the line of work to introduce either to introduce new features. So in this case, a new feature is going to split from the master branch in this commit here, which was, the initial commit, at least, that's shown in this graph. A cool feature, for example, it splits from the master branch some later commit in time. And this is fairly common in large projects. What you want to make sure is that although you are working on your main branch, you merge it back to the master or main one fairly often, as otherwise you may get into conflicts when you do want to merge. And we will learn how we can resolve that today. So a branch is the commit and all its parents commits, although branch as a reference is the tip of the branch. And typically the main line of development is called master or main in some versions of Git. So newer versions actually have the main branch called main, just to make it consistent with the name on GitHub. But this is just a name. You can change it to whatever is relevant for your code. You could call it the name of your code if you prefer. So it's really just a name. And different branches within a repository can have completely different files and folders, and that is especially common if you work on different features, and then and then you need to have simply a different structure for that. And but usually everything will be the same in these different folders, except for a few lines of codes or some files. It's good if it's not completely divergent. And the branch is created to work on a feature most of the case. And then once this feature is completed, then it can be merged back onto the master branch. So here, this new feature here has been merged back on the master branch. And then a new commit will be formed from merging the features on this branch together with the ones on the master one. So how do we create a branch? The command for that is git branch, followed by the name of the branch, in this case, the cool feature. And when you create a branch, I mean, the only restriction is that you do not create a branch. You do not choose a name that already exists among your branches. And in order to switch to a branch that you have created, then you do git checkout followed by the name of that branch. And in newer versions of Git, instead of git checkout, you can actually use the git switch command. We've seen before that git checkout works not only with branch references, but it works with hashes, with files, and that may be a bit confusing, but git switch only works with branches. So I think that's one of the reasons why they have introduced this additional command. So if you want to switch to a branch that is not yet created, then you should add the -b option to git checkout. So git checkout -b and then a new branch name. And in order to see the branch that you are on, then you may type the git branch command, and that is going to list the branches you have created, as well as put an asterisk in front of the branch that you are on. Okay, then, so how can one merge branches? So the first thing that you need to do is to switch to the branch that you are merging it to. So if I want to merge some other branch into the master branch, first I have to check out to the tip of that branch, and then it's important that you actually specify the branch name here and not the hash as we have seen before. So git checkout and the branch name. And then you may merge to using the git merge and the branch that we want to merge into the branch that we are on. So git merge cool feature in this example. If you have merged a branch, then you can delete the extra branch. And you can do that using git branch -d. So -d stands for --delete. And then the name of the branch you want to delete. So what does deleting a branch means? It means that it's going to remove the reference to that branch, but it's not going to delete the commits. So only removes the reference. And so let's go through some examples. And in this case, I'm going to type, and I invite you to type along if you wish. I will move a little bit this window. Okay. So I am in a directory now, which is not a Git directory and a Git repository. And I am going to create now a directory and initialize it as a repository. Then I will create some files and stage it and commit it. I will just follow the same namings as in this example so that we are all on the same page. So let's create now a directory called my project. I am going to enter this directory. And right now, this is not a Git repository. I just have one directory with no files in it whatsoever. And the way I initialize it as a Git repository is again by typing git init. And by default, it's going to initialize the directory I am in as my Git repository. So my project is going to be my Git repository. Okay, so let's do that. So it tells me that this is now initialized as a Git repository, and it has created now this hidden directory. And you remember from from Monday that all files, all hidden files and blobs and references are stored in this hidden directory. Okay, so what I will do in the following is to create a file. This is what the touch.txt command does. If you don't have it on your operating system, you can just use your editor to create a file, and it can be empty, but just make sure you save it. So I created a file, txt. This is not yet staged. So it's an empty file. Sorry, it's a modified unstaged file. I'm going to stage it now with git add. And commit this. Yeah, sorry, now the line breaks, but otherwise I think the font is too small. So I will have my first commit in this repository. What I will do in the following is to create a new branch and then switch to that branch. So if I do git branch, sorry, lots of typos. What I have now is just the master branch, and head is pointing to the master branch. That's what the asterisk says. And I will create a new branch called cool feature. And I am going to check out to this branch. And again, instead of writing git branch cool feature, git checkout to cool feature, I could have done git checkout -b cool feature. So it's just one command into two. You can do that when you get more familiar with Git. So I will, I should make a change to this file. So I will add this line to the file. This is what I could do. And I'm going to stage this and commit this. Like this. I'll try to keep the same commit message so that there are no differences. Okay then, so now I have two commits, and the head is pointing to this to the tip of this new branch called cool feature. Okay then, let's now check out back to the master branch. So do that using git checkout master, and I get the output. Okay, it has switched to branch master. So if I do, I can also check that with git branch. So I see that I am on the master branch. And I'm going to make a new commit on this branch. And I will change another file, which I call second file. Not very creative, this example. Second file, and then, and you'll see, I mean, many of our examples have been language agnostic on purpose, as I'm sure you all program in different languages. And I'm going to commit this. Edit the second file. Okay, then. So now I will use the git graph, the graph alias that I had defined earlier. And I see that I have these two branches and they have basically diverged. I have commits on both of these branches. Okay, then. So git graph is the alias for this command. If you did not have it defined, you can type that instead. So now we will want to merge these two branches, and then what we want to make sure is that we are on the branch that we want to merge onto. So I am on the master branch. That is where I want to merge into, and then I can type git merge the name of the branch that I want to merge into master. And again, if you use main instead of master, that's fine. Just rename master to main. So type main instead of master. So git merge full feature, and what this will do is going to take the two line of developments that I have in both master and cool feature, and merge these into a new commit typically. And with all new commits, I am prompted to edit a commit message, and this opens automatically in my defined editor. So I am going to just save this. I'm fine with this commit message. Okay, so you may notice that I get a slightly different output in my case compared to the one in the notes, and I will explain what the difference is. So the strategy for merging the branches has changed in more recent versions of Git. I should also stress that in most cases, you will see no difference between recursive and ORT. There are very subtle differences, and that will only matter if you have a very complicated directory structure with many different changes. So for 99% of you, you will see almost no difference between these two different strategies. But that's the difference. And let's do git graph again. And so the two commits I had previously on the master and cool feature branch are now merged into one commit, which has these two parents. Okay, so that's what git merge does. And I already mentioned this, so this happened in version 2.33. So depending on the version of Git that you have, which you can check with Git version, you will see Git is going to take different strategies when merging. Again, the difference is almost non-existent unless you have a very complicated working directory. Okay, so I can remove this branch, and I do that with git branch, option -d, and the name of the branch, cool feature. And so now this is gone. If I do git graph again, what happens? So you see that I still have the commits. And why do I have them? It's because I still have a parent which belongs to no, I still have children of these commits that have a branch reference. So they are going to be shown in git log with the --all option defined. So reference is gone. You can see that before I had the cool reference, the cool feature reference to this hash, but that is gone now, and I can only see the hashes for the commits. So reference is gone, commits stay. And I will add here that you can also remove branches that are not merged. And you may do that using the -D. But then you are not going to see the commits on that branch because they will no longer have a reference. So as they do not have merged commits that are the children of these branches, then they will not show in the Git log. But again, you can still find them with Git ref log. Okay, then. So that's more or less what we have done. So sometimes we are in the situation that we have uncommitted changes in the working directory, and we wish to switch to a different branch. And again, from before, git checkout can behave well. Will not switch to a different branch or hash unless the working tree is clean. So then what to do with the uncommitted changes in our working directory? So there are different strategies. Well, by default, it is going to try to take these uncommitted changes to the new branch, but that will not be possible if there is a conflict between the files in the working directory with the ones on the new branch. And then what you need to do is to either commit your commit your changes before you check out to the new branch, or you stash these changes. And let's go through this example. So I am going to create and check out to a new branch. So you can see that I can use this name as I don't have a branch with the cool feature name anymore. That reference has been dropped. So I will switch this new branch cool feature. So I see this. Now the head is pointing to what has two references, both cool feature and master, but the branch I am on is actually the cool feature one. So that is always good to test, especially again, if your head is pointing to two branches. So the branch that I am on is cool feature. And what I will do is create a new file. And I'm going to stage and commit it. No, sorry, I will not commit. I'm going to stage it only, because I should show you that it works. As this is a new file, there is no conflict with whatever else I have on the other branch, so the master one. So if I check out, this will work. So check out to master. This works because this has been a new file. You see that it has added this file in my working directory. If I do ls, I can still see it. But again, the checkout worked because there were no conflicts. But it does warn me that, okay, I have this added file in the branch. Well, it was on the master branch. The file is still on the master branch, but the switch is allowed. So so I could repeat this example by switching to cool feature, adding some file, and let's see. I will show that as well. So I can switch to cool feature. And what I have here, let's see. I have this modified and staged new file. So I'm going to commit this. And I am going to add a second file. And then check out to the master branch. And this is allowed. The checkout is allowed because the master branch does not have the second file. Okay, then. So let's assume we have two branches, cool feature and more feature. Up to now, I have only the cool feature one, so I'm going to create the other one. So git branch, again, more features. And I will switch to that branch. So git checkout or git switch to cool features first. Cool feature. And I am going to commit the modifications in this second file in this branch. I should have done a git status before. Yes, let me do that. It's always a good idea to do that before committing. So git status. Oh, I don't have this modification in the second file. Let's see. I could have missed that. We were stage, I think, before. Okay, so now I will commit this and copy paste from above. So I will commit this on the cool feature branch. And I will do some modifications to the more files. Stage and commit this. Okay, I had not. So okay, git commit -a will only work if the file has already been tracked before. So I have to do git add on this file at least once before I use git commit with -a. Okay, so this has been committed, and let's see which branches do I have now. Typo. So I have cool feature, master, and more feature. And let's check out to the more feature one. And modify this file. And stage. no commit, sorry. And let's see. And what I will do, so I will keep this stage modification in the more features branch, and I will not commit it, but instead switch to the cool feature branch. And because I have done a mistake. I have misspelled the branch name. Yeah, I misspelled the branch name. So whatever modifications I've done were actually on cool feature. So then let me think. So I have this modified file. And now I can't remember because I want a version of it that, let's see. Let me just quickly go back and see how cool feature should look like. So file is more. This or not? No. Wait, don't, let me see one more files. So more files should not have this line. No, let's see, git branch. So basically I reverted back to the version of more files that I should have. So I should have I am a bit lost now. Okay, so let's see. So here I created more features branch, checked out the cool feature, switched okay to that, committed this second file, added more text, added text to more files. Okay, I've done that. I should have staged this in more files. Let's see. So yes. So I have this right now, and then commit this. Let's see. Add some text. So this I have. Some text on the cool feature head. So, okay, so this I have, good. And then I should check out more features, yes. So we check out to more features, hopefully no misspelled. So let's see, yes. So now I am switched to this more features branch. And then let's see how more files looks like. I should. And I have a file that I am going to stage. So I have these modified more files in this branch, more features. And remember that I also had a more file in the cool feature branch, which has a different content. So now, hopefully, when I check out, it should give me, it should complain. Because I have modifications in the same file, and the checkout should fail. Yes. So it complains about these two different modifications in more files. And what it tells me that I should, well, do something about these modifications before I am allowed to switch to that branch. So what can one do? One can either commit the changes before switching to the new branch, then the working tree is going to be clean. I can stash the uncommitted changes, as we have seen in an example before, and I can discard them all together. So I could do a git reset to remove those modifications, or as I will show you, one can do a git checkout together with the -- merge option. So stashing, we have seen. I am going to skip this, as it's basically a repetition from the previous lesson. What I can do is I can discard these uncommitted changes, and I can use git clean if these have not been staged yet. So git clean, dry run first, and then removing the removing the dry run option, and actually cleaning them up. I can another option is that I do a checkout together with the merge option, and what this is going to try is to incorporate all the changes from this working directory, the head of the branch that I am on, and then the branch that I want to check out to or switch to. So it's going to be like a freeway checkout to the new branch. And this may work sometimes, but sometimes it may fail. So again, I mean, it's a freeway merge between working tree, new branch, and the current branch. And after this will not create a new commit, but you will be on the new branch that you want to switch to, and you will keep the merged result, so of the branch that you are on, and the working directory in the new working directory of on the branch you are merging to. But again, this may result in conflicts, and then you need to resolve those, and then that you typically can do by editing the files. If you do a git status in your working directory, you will be prompted to which conflicts you need to resolve. So so Git will try to merge as much as it can, but you, especially, I mean, if you are well, the way Git does merging is by adding files together, and you should always be careful when you are merging, for example, different lines of work when you are coding, because just putting files together may actually not make sense. So you should revise your merges all the time. Okay. So there are different merge strategies, and the one that we have discussed about is this recursive merge. slightly similar, the old one in newer versions, and in both of these in these strategies, what Git is going to do is, okay, it will try to incorporate the changes in two different branches into one new commit. Sometimes the new commit, so the new commit is not really necessary. And when is that the case? The case is, so let's say that you have created, you have worked on a branch, then you create a new one, and you do some changes on this new branch, but you do not make any changes to your old branch or the master one. When you incorporate the changes from your new branch onto master, then you'll perform this so-called fast forward merge. And that will just move the reference of the master branch instead of creating a new commit. Again, this happens if you do not have commits in your old master branch. So you keep the history of your repository linear. It will become more evident when we do an exercise that will happen tomorrow. So I will quickly give you an example when merge conflicts can occur. And for that, I will step out of this repository, create a new one. First, the directory, initialize it as a repository. And in this repository, I'm going to create a file which contains some text. Stage this and commit. And then I will create and switch to a new branch called the merge branch. So I will have this combined checkout, combined branch and checkout. Merge branch. Then I have switched to this new branch. And in this branch, I'm going to have a different modification to this file, same file that I had on master. And I should say it is important that the modifications of my file are in the same line into these two different branches. Otherwise, Git will not complain, so it will do the merge. So it's really very important. Same line has conflicts. So git commit change the content. So what do I have now? So I have the initial commit. I have the merge branch with one commit. And let's do some more modifications to my file on the master branch. So first the checkout on the master branch. And let's see. Okay, so now we have two commits. Let's see, do we have to git graph? Yes, two commits on the master branch and the two commits on the merge one. So what we will want to do is now to merge the merge branch into the master one. So I should be on the branch that I want to merge into, and that is the case. I want to merge into master, and I can now use git merge followed by the name of the other branch, merge master. So now I should have
It's just a typo. It should be
yes.
merge branch.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, it's good to know what different error messages can mean, but basically it complained about the name. Thank you. So what happens now is that I get a conflict, and because my file txt has modifications that cannot be merged, that cannot be solved by the merge, and what it says is this automatic merge has failed. And what I need to do is to fix the conflicts and then commit. So if I do git status, I see that, okay, the file in question is my file txt. And the easiest way I can fix these conflicts is by editing the file. So I open the file in my favorite editor, and then I choose the content that I wish to keep. It's important that you remove these delimiters that Git adds. So it simply shows me that this is the part that head has, and then there will be a line followed by the part which is different in the other branch, the one that I want to merge into the master one. So I will remove these, and let's say I'm happy with just adding up all the content that I had in these files. So now what I have is this modified file, but I still need to commit this modification, and then I can continue the merge with git merge -- continue. And then I will be prompted with the editor where I should specify some commit message. I will keep this commit message merge branch, which is default, but it can be changed if needed, and I can add more information. Okay, so git branch, sorry, not git graph will then show me that I have successfully merged these two branches in a new commit on the master branch. So we have done this. And yes, this we can skip. So it's just a repeat of what we went through. So what we will do tomorrow is to tell you how you can merge different branches using the rebasing command, so git rebase, and also how to cherry pick certain commits from one branch onto another. This will take maybe something like 10 minutes. And after that, we are going to do a couple of exercises. And that will mostly consist on merging both with and without conflicts. And then we'll do some exercises with rebasing. But before we end up for today, are there some questions when it comes to branches?